All right, let's talk about this COVID situation because, as I said, I was just in Texas, and in Texas, you know what? A couple people were wearing masks, and God bless them. It's your choice to put anything on your face if you'd like to, and it's your choice to be injected with anything if you'd like to. I'm cool with that. That's just fine. You just can't tell me what to do with my body, which used to be a thing that the lefties would say. But there's all sorts of crazy things happening now related to COVID. First, I want to show you, well, on a more somber note for just a moment, obviously this past weekend, Saturday, was the 20th anniversary of 9/11. As many of you know, I wrote about it in my book, and I've talked about it a few times here. I was in New York City during 9/11. I did a video that we posted on Locals just about what it was like to be in New York City at the time, and obviously it's a solemn time, and you know it's hard to imagine that 20 years later, sort of here's where America's at after that horrific thing. The reason I'm mentioning 9/11 related to COVID is that at one of the memorials, they had Obama there, and they had Biden and Clinton. Bill Clinton looks like death walking right now, by the way. But anyway, here's Joe Biden. I want you to just see what he does here. If you don't think that masks and all of this nonsense is nonsense, take a look at this video. Watch what he does related to, he has the mask, takes off, well, watch it.
The murderers, look, the murderers. Yeah, it's Obama. You're a mud for what you did to Afghanistan. Terrible, terrible.
Don't sniff them. Back up, just
terrible.
Don't sniff them.
Okay, so there's a couple things that happened there. First off, the reason that video went viral was not because of what happened with the mask. It was because of the people booing him and the guy that yelled, don't sniff him, meaning Biden walked with the mask. He has the mask on. Then when he gets close to the people to shake their hands, what does he do? He takes the mask down, he touches the person, right? He shakes a hand, and then what's the thing? Then he kisses his own hand. Can we just, come on.
Terrible, terrible.
Don't sniff them. Back up, just
terrible.
Don't sniff them.
Regardless of your feelings on masks in general and vaccines and everything else, what would be the one thing that maybe you wouldn't want to do once you shake somebody's hand if we're to believe that this pandemic is as bad as you want, especially if you're a, 79-year-old guy with, I don't want to say dementia, old person's syndrome, like he's got some problems. Even the way you see he walks there, like this guy's not in good shape. He takes the mask down when he gets close to someone, he shakes their hand and he kisses his hand. Imagine if Trump did that. Imagine if that was Trump. Impeachment, lead of CNN, all the usual nonsense that you know about. All right, let's show you video 2 here. Are we going to go right to Fauci now? Is that what we're doing? Which one? Oh, okay. So let's do a little bit more on Biden. So here's just a little bit of a compilation. This is from RNC Research of Kamala and Biden saying things about vaccines before they were the president and vice president. Enjoy.
So let's just say there's a vaccine that is approved and even distributed before the election. Would you get it?
Well, I think that's going to be an issue for all of us.
If and when the vaccine comes. And it's not likely to go through all the tests that needs to be and the trials that are needed to be done.
When we finally do, God willing, get a vaccine, who's going to take the shot? Who's going to take the shot? You can be the first one to say, sign me up. They now say it's okay.
And the question of whether it's real when it's there, that requires enormous transparency. You got to make all of it available to other experts across the nation so they can look and see. So there's consensus, this is a safe vaccine. If the president announced tomorrow we have a vaccine, would you take it? Only if it was completely transparent that other experts in the country could look at it. Only if we knew all of what went into it. If Donald Trump can't give answers and the administration can't give answers to these 3 questions, the American people should not have confidence.
But if Donald Trump tells us that we should take it, I'm not taking it.
You know, if it was hard for you to watch those clowns say those things, that if they said those things now, they'd probably be banned from Twitter or, just kicked out of polite society. If it's hard for you to watch that, we have to watch it a couple times when we're setting up the show. And my director, Connor, turned to me in the middle of that one and said, how is this guy president? Like, that's what we're all realizing. How is this guy president? I actually don't even think he's president. I mean, I know it says it on his desk or on the paper that he's always looking at. Like, I believe he was sworn in as president of the United States, but he's obviously not the guy in charge. Anyway, the point is, when Trump was the one that was doing Operation Warp Speed and we're going to get everybody vaccinated and everything else, Kamala Harris, I don't trust it. I don't trust Trump. Joe Biden, who would trust this? It has to be transparent. Do you feel that everything feels transparent right now? Like, the level of lies with these people is absolutely extraordinary, and they know they can do it because the media runs cover for them. And I would say the bigger problem at this point, and I think my track record on this has been pretty good, is that it's never going to stop until we stop it. And I don't even know exactly what that means, through elections or just like some sort of national divorce or whatever else. But meaning, you could watch videos from, I think probably by the end of March of 2020, where I kept saying the old world is not coming back. And it's becoming very, very clear that's not coming back. Like, it's gone. It's gone. Try to remember your life. If you can, I'll do a 5 seconds of silence here. Try to remember your life back in January of 2020. Do you even remember it? It's kind of hard, right? It's kind of hard to remember what it was like before this, but I know it was better than this nonsense that we're dealing with now, and they're just going to keep coming. And if you don't think so, well, here's Fauci now talking about mandating that everyone who gets on a plane should have to wear a mask.
If we get the overwhelming proportion of the population vaccinated, we will get to herd immunity. If we do it in the next 6 months, it will happen in the next 6 months. If we do it in the next 2 months, it'll happen in the next 2 months. I would support that. If you want to get on a plane and travel with other people, that you should be vaccinated. When you hear us say, should you mandate vaccination for children to be able to attend school, some people say, oh my goodness, that would be terrible to do that. But we already do that and have been doing that for decades and decades. I don't know what school you went to, but the school that I went to, you had to be vaccinated for measles, mumps, rubella, polio, or otherwise you couldn't go to school. So it is not something new to mandate vaccines for school children. The solution that we have at our hands is vaccines.
Measles, mumps, and rubella kill people, including young people. COVID does not. Again, I don't want to send anyone to Twitter, but go look at my Twitter. I just retweeted something by Congressman Massey from Kentucky about the ages of people that are dying, and young people are just simply not dying. I know that makes people upset when you say that, but they're not. They're not dying. Young people have immunity. Healthy people have immunity. We never talk about stop being a fat fuck and eat right and take care of yourself and try medicine, try eating right, not drinking all the time, not taking drugs, not abusing yourself, and you might be okay. Your immunity might be okay. Notice how they've also changed the language. It was 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Now it's quite literally almost 2 years later. It's over a year and a half later. And we don't talk about flattening the curve. Nobody even, if you were even to say flatten the curve, like if someone was to bring that up on CNN, they wouldn't even know what to do with it. But we went from 2 weeks to flatten the curve to literally, he's saying in 2 months, if everyone gets vaccinated, we'll have herd immunity, or it could be in 6 months if everyone gets vaccinated, we'll have herd immunity. They're just pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing.